So Shelby served in the Army for 6 years and got out as a captain in the beginning of 2018 to dive into real estate full time as both an agent and investor. Out of the gate, she was recognized as the Keller Williams Rookie of the Year for all of North and South Carolina, closing 48 transactions. She moved on to create a traditional team in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Five Pillars Realty Group, which closed 500 plus transactions in the first 2.5 years. In mid-2021, after hitting Icon 3 years in a row, Shelby transformed Five Pillars Realty Group into Five Pillars Nation, a downline model community, and shifted out of production. In 2023, after years of growing the community, coaching, speaking, and investing, Shelby and her husband Drake moved to Lexington, Kentucky, and decided to get back into production to build out Five Pillars team of Lexington. They're rocking and rolling, ready to take the best care of your Lexington, Kentucky referrals. Now, Shelby also has years of experience flipping and wholesaling, acquiring rentals, both short-term and long-term. She founded Pints and Properties, a nationwide real estate investors group, and is passionate about helping real estate agents use their active income to build passive income portfolio. Welcome, Shelby. We are glad you're here.
Thank you.
What's going on?
So much. Sorry.
No, it's good.
No, it's fine.
Trust me, we've had bios that are like really long, and I've just sorted them without telling the person until they got on. Yours is interesting enough. Like, there's so much going on that I didn't want to. There's a lot of cool like transitions, which we'll get into. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna go through the whole bio. Yeah, just send it.
Cool.
It's that commercial. All right, real quick. First icebreaker. Now, I'm leading off with this one because we have asked. This might be the only repeat icebreaker we've ever had on the show. We asked another guest this months ago, and I didn't love their response. So I'm going to see if you respond differently. Would you rather fight 100? No pressure. 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? Horse-sized duck. I can repeat the question if you need another visual.
That is such a good question.
Okay.
No, 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck. Wait.
Yep.
Yes, one horse-sized duck.
So 1 or 100, just small or?
I think I got to go with the small ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so you don't like my answer again? Dude, I feel like
I may be in the minority here. It could just be me.
You just have more chances with the small one. With the big one, like you mess up one time and it's over.
Yeah. So I don't want to be fighting a horse that's the size of a horse any day of the week for sure. But a duck just seems, well, for one, there's only one of them. So I kind of like the idea of fighting one thing, but I don't know. It could be, could go either way.
I would choose the duck-sized horses, but I'll have to explain why, like, when we're not recording offline, because it's
It's too much of a teaser.
Just things I've learned.
It's too violent too quickly.
Yeah, it escalates very quickly. So yeah.
All right, so we're gonna put Shelby down for one horse-sized duck, right?
No, she wants the small.
I want 100 little ones.
You wanted the little. Oh wait, you wanted the small horses. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you want the small. Right. So once that scenario presents itself, I'll be sure to let you know. Okay, let me go ahead.
So Shelby, would you rather always have to sing instead of speak, or dance everywhere you go? I should have probably framed that question differently. Would you rather sing than speak?
I think I'm gonna dance. I think we're gonna dance everywhere.
That's fair.
I'm not that good, but it'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that really comes down to I can't dance at all, so I'm definitely gonna sing. But if you could dance, that would probably be a lot more tolerable for everyone around you than hearing you sing every time you ask a question. So that's fair. All right. Lastly, weirdest or maybe worst autocorrect fail that you've ever sent.
Ooh, this one comes straight to mind. Because this one time it was in college I was in a sorority at the time, which is so weird to look back now. I'm like, how did I ever do Greek life personally? But at the time, I was in it. And I invited this guy to come to a function, which, you do. And then I texted the guy who I did not know very well and was like, what size shirt do you want? But I did not say shirt. I said shit. And
Oh no.
I asked him what size shit that he wanted. So that was really, really fun moment for me that clearly is scarring because it
Gosh.
came right to mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
What did he
was
say?
made a lasting impression. Yeah. We do want to know his response. Also.
I don't remember. I think I just blacked out the entire rest of the conversation. Done.
Oh, that's grand.
Just want to
That's
pull it out of the
grand.
loop.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So getting into some slightly more serious territory now. I want to go back. Yemi was reading about how you started off in the Army and you went from being an Army captain into full-time real estate. This was 2018, I think said.
Yes.
So walk us through. I would love to know what a military background, how that might prepare you, particularly if you're in leadership roles, coming into what I think a lot of people, at least initially, see real estate as being very chaotic. You know, your sales, right? You're coming into something that is not necessarily super clean and neat and like laid out for you. Was that the case for you? Did you find a way to like build structure around it? What was that transition like ultimately?
Yes, to all.
Okay.
So the military really did set me up for success in ways that I had no idea at the time, because I never had a goal of getting out and becoming an entrepreneur. That all just kind of fell into place when I started the military. But through the military, I got really accustomed to getting up and working hard from the minute, I woke up, and kind of not stopping in a way. And the military instills in you this, you can't just be like, oh, I don't know. Oh, I couldn't figure it out. Like
Sure.
they would look at you like, are you on crack? Like, absolutely not. So you have to find a way to make it work, whether or not, no one's going to give you the answer. You have to find it. So I think that was super helpful for me.
Okay.
Also, it helped in communication. And I had to speak to a lot of people in different ranks and different personality types that forced me to learn to adapt to their communication style as opposed to my own. And then just organization, delegation, tracking, so many things.
Yeah. That makes sense. Sounds like it was a good background experience to have. Then
it was seriously so helpful. And also the idea of don't do the same thing twice if it's going to be super repeatable. Create a system so that way you don't have to relearn or think or find. It's you learn it once, put in all the effort, and create a template or a system so that way in the future you don't have to be wasting time on rebuilding those pieces. So efficiency was a big factor as well.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Nice.
So Shelby, I've got some friends that are in real estate, and closing 48 transactions in 2 years would be incredible for some people, but you did it as rookie of the year, and that's phenomenal. Did you have some kind of like non-negotiable daily routine that drove those results? Because those are like, that's extreme outlier, like top of the food chain type of thing, especially like, and you were brand new to the industry too. Like that's like, please share with us.
It's funny because at the time I wasn't paying attention to what was normal. And I think that was one of the factors of how I was able to do so much. Because I was like, wait, this isn't normal. You guys aren't doing this either.
You also are closing 50 transactions this year.
And now when I look back, having like left that first year and then started a team and starting helping coaching and stuff like that, now I'm like, oh, wow, that was a lot. I don't know. How did I do that? But in regard to daily routine, a lot of it in the beginning, which the audience is entrepreneurs, right? So for me, a lot of my absolute hustle fire came from fear, the fear of the fact that I was only getting paid off of commissions and that I didn't have a backup plan. There was no like, oh, if this doesn't work for 3 months, I'm going to go back and work at whatever. Like it was working.
Sure.
And so I think that really helped. But I literally woke up and I'm not going to recommend this lifestyle to people, but literally I woke up at 4 a.m. for like the first 3 years in real estate, just because I knew that the best time for me to get things done was before everyone else woke up. And so I got up early and I did as much as I could before everyone else started. Because when people, like you said, with chaos, the minute people start replying to messages or asking for things, it is really easy to get off track of what is actually your most important tasks of the day.
Sure.
So prioritizing those and doing them before people woke up was really impactful. And then in regard to like a daily routine, it's kind of hard because real estate is different every day. It's not like the same type of thing, but prioritizing leads, of course. So marketing, lead generating, those type of activities. So no matter how busy you are, you have to think about your future business as well as your current. If that answers your question. Am I talking in circles, guys? You tell me.
Yeah. No, it is. It's funny because when you talk about getting up at 4 a.m., I'm not getting up at 4 a.m., but I'm getting up a lot earlier than I have habitually in the past. And it's funny because this is a very like clear and present strategy I hear from a lot of people that are in the entrepreneurial realm. It's like, that time is quiet. And so like, I also have 5 children. So there's a very short span of the day that is quiet, like at all. And over time, I've just started getting up earlier and earlier. And it used to be, I remember like a few years ago, I read a book. I think it's called The 5 a.m. Club or something. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like we're going to go do this. And I did it for like, I don't know, a month or something. But it was kind of, my heart wasn't in it. I was just kind of doing it because I thought it'd be like a good discipline. I'm at this stage now where I'm seeing the productivity in that time. And like, it's very evident. It's like, wow, I can get so much more done in an hour and a half, 2 hours right up here at the front end of the day than I will like maybe the next 10 combined. Just like a totally different. So I definitely empathize with that. And I'm slowly inching that time back further and further because of how much it's yielding. Like it's there. It's not, I don't have to convince myself anymore. Like, ooh, this would be a good thing, or, oh, this would be super disciplined, or like, wow, I'd be, really big rock star if I could just tell people what time I got up this morning. Like, I really don't care anymore. It's just, this is actually just super effective. We're getting stuff done is great. So yeah.
I love that. I love that for you. I don't do 4 a.m. anymore. I'm a 5 a.m.er. Although if I'm really busy, I will, same with you, I'll like add an extra 30 minutes or sometimes 4. But now I feel it when I do 4. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
You get used to anything over time.
Yeah. So that's fair.
I mean, I got to ask you, Shelby, this is totally off. I am sort of like a self-described night owl, although I know that when I get up early, I can be productive. Is that a case of like waking up and jumping into work, or do you like wake up and like stretch and meditate and then like take a shower and then get into work? Or how did that work? Because, I know that in the mornings I've gotten up early and gotten things that I'm like, yeah, that's rad. I'm so excited about it that I want to stay up till midnight, and then it doesn't work the next day. So
that's a really good question, because I have gone through a bunch of phases with my mornings, because kind of like Aram, your book was 5 a.m. Club or whatever, but my early morning book was the Miracle Morning Millionaires. Have you guys heard of like the Miracle Morning series?
I have. Yes. I haven't read it, but I know what you're referencing. Yeah.
Okay. The specific one, Miracle Morning Millionaires, was the one where I was like, this is it.
Gotcha.
And so throughout this time where I was waking up at 4 a.m., I, in the beginning, developed a routine based off that book, which has silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. SAVERS is the acronym, which is how I was able to like, do that off really quick. But what I found is that if I did everything within SAVERS every day, I could literally spend the first hours just doing that stuff. So over time, I have adapted that to based on like what I need in that current moment. And sometimes that is meditation. Sometimes like when you wake up and your head's kind of spinning and you're not clear on your purpose, or you feel like anxious and not grounded, then I'm like, okay, I need to meditate. I need to write something, get my thoughts out on paper, do some sort of activity to kind of get myself back down to base level. And then once I feel like I'm at base level, though, if I feel really good when I wake up and I know exactly what is my top focus and what I want to get done, I jump right into work. So to answer your question, it really depends on where I am mentally more than anything. But I also do exercise in the morning as well. So back in the day, I did that, but usually I did it at like, 8:39 back then, because I would just use all of that time I could in the morning.
Sure.
But now I'm at a 6:30 schedule. So I wake up and I'll do like 5 a.m. until 6:26 is my gym is 3 minutes away. And then I'll like fly out of my driveway and get there right on time. So
Nice. That's great. Okay. So, all right, then take us into you then developed a team with 5 pillars, right? And you
Mhm.
get it said you Yemi said you guys closed 500 some transactions in 2.5 years. So if you're like doing the math, like 48 in a year is like that's really awesome really for one person. Now you're obviously multiplying those efforts quite a bit. You mentioned a minute ago how when it was just you, when you were solo, you didn't realize like how crazy that sales volume was because you weren't, comparing yourself to anybody. So when you're bringing on a team with 5 pillars, at what point did you start to did you have to change a little bit in your strategy? Like, hey, now I'm bringing on other people. I'm teaching them how to do this. Were you trying to duplicate, Shelby's intense work ethic and be like, you all can do 50 transactions this year? How did you have to adjust that in order to develop a good team there?
These are good questions. So it definitely was an adjustment process, but my adjustment didn't happen immediately because my first year when I created a team, so I was individual agent, rookie of the year that first year. And
Mm-hmm.
before the year was even over, I had these two different investor minded real estate backed or sorry, army backed, so very similar to me, personalities reach out and being
Yep.
like, because I had started this meetup. So they'd come to the meetup, they had like seen, what I was doing. And both of them individually had come to me and being like, hey, I want to do this too. Like, I want to get out of the army. I
Okay.
want to be an investor. I also want to be an agent. And my perspective on your question was very, very skewed because these first two people are phenomenal. Like the one of them closed 60 something his first year on the team.
Okay.
And the other one, not that much, but he did a lot more like in the investor space. So like they were just absolute studs. And they helped me, they stayed with 5 pillars all the way down till I shut it down. And I did investment deals with them. Like we did flips together. We bought, like we called it the 3 Ps. And so it wasn't until after the ones after that I was like, oh, now I see. None of
Sure.
this is
Okay.
normal. And that was quite an adjustment because I'm like, I mean, I did it. Like they're doing it. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing that was kind of weird too is that like what the three of us were able to do is not necessarily replicatable in the sense of a lot of what we did was based on our ability to clearly articulate and instill confidence in people. Having met them quickly, they would leave trusting us and like being clients. Whereas a lot of people without the level of experience that we had come to the table with didn't have the ability to immediately meet someone and make them your client out the gate because of that confidence level, because they were babies or they didn't have the experience or whatever. And that's why this is part of my process of discovery that the way of lead generating for most real estate teams is you get a bunch of cold leads, you have them sit there and you make dials all day, farm the pool, all that stuff. And I was like, why would you ever do that? We could just go to an event and leave with 5 leads each. What do you mean? And then I realized these are all part of my discovery. I was like, oh, that actually is not normal. So
Yeah. So this is the kind of tag along now to that because I'm thinking there's a couple different, I guess, strategies you could look at and play here, which is building a team that sort of resembles a lot of your own core values, right? So you're talking about like, these are a couple of really, really high performing, highly impressive people. And so they're also doing like great volume as well, because so you can make an argument there that you could just build a team strictly of carbon copies more or less of yourself, right? And like I said, the results might not be super duplicatable if you're bringing on fresh people that don't have that. So I'm just curious, like, have you seen, is there like a little bit of both in some cases, or can you make an argument for it's better to have a very, very duplicatable process that you can bring a lot of people into as opposed to just super, super tightly controlling the team and they're all like A players all the time, always on. And you never, what I'm saying? Like there's like self-starters and then there's everybody else, but they can also follow a process.
Right. Yes. So if I were to do it again, to answer your question, I kind of did both because I had my first who were like carbon copies of me. And then we grew. By the time I shut it down, we had 35 agents. We were in 2 different markets. And I would never personally do that again. I would absolutely just keep it as absolutely small as humanly possible of only A++ talent, and then build out the leverage that those people need. So that way they can have the 80%, 80-20 principle. So the 80% of anything that someone else can do is done for them with like top tier admin behind the scenes, and then just let those few key players run the show. I would not try to turn anyone into a real estate using very basic processes, because I mean, 87% of agents are gone by year 2.
Wow, that many. Okay. I knew it was up there. I didn't realize it was that high.
It's everyone and their mom that gets their real estate license because they think it's going to be something that it's not. And literally 87% are gone by year 2. So it's just not a good business model to try to, because they're just, the turn is so quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to know. Okay. Cool.
So after you came out of the gate just swinging, you have these, absolute rock stars with you, and you hit icon status 3 times, and just, that's a big deal, from that world. And then you pivoted from personal production to building a downline model, the 5 pillars nation. Will you explain what a downline model is? And then why would you walk away from just active sales, like when you're just dominating the market?
Yeah, so many reasons. I was literally at my breaking point by the time we shut it down. I was so fed up with humans, humans. I came out so hot, and I was, 4 a.m. every day for years, and just go, 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 go. And people were like, "You're gonna burn out. You're gonna burn out." And I was like, "Not me. Your girl burned out." Oh my God, I hit a wall so hard. And yeah, I don't think I didn't want to go one more day. And it was really like the agent. When you're at the top, you're leading an organization, and you have so much going on, and because it wasn't just the team. I was doing investments, and Pints and Properties, and podcasts, and all this stuff. Yeah. It all just compounded, and that's why my whole motto this time around is less is more. Do I really need that in my life or business? If it's not completely imperative, it doesn't go on my calendar. It doesn't go on my plate. I'm not doing it. So anyway, to answer your question, I knew I wanted to shut down the sales team, but I also knew that I had worked really hard to build a brand within the agent world, the 5 Pillars Realty Group at that time. And I had poured so much of my heart and soul into it that the idea of really shutting it, like really killing it, hurt too bad that I tried to find a way to keep the parts I loved, kill the parts I didn't, and create a lifestyle that I wanted to live. And that's how the evolution of 5 Pillars Nation came around, which is not a traditional team. It is an online community, essentially, where I took all of my systems, tools, and processes and put them. I have a Google Drive still to this day. I mean, 5 Pillars Nation still exists. And we have chats, and we do a little bit of training, like at least weekly, and now agents from all over the country can join our brokerage, which it's not my eXp Realty is the brokerage. 5 Pillars Nation exists within eXp Realty. And when agents join eXp, they can choose a sponsor. And if they choose a sponsor that's either myself or someone that's within the community, then they get access to the 5 Pillars Nation, which were the investor specialists, the hustlers, the veteran background. That's kind of like our brand and identity. And then they're a part of something smaller within this like 90,000 people brokerage where it's really easy to get lost. Does that make sense?
Yep.
One more thing. The way that it's paid, because it's like, why do all this for free? Which obviously you want to get back all the things. Compensation is also good. So eXp,
good. Plus.
When you bring people into the brokerage and those people are successful. So, Yemi comes in, he joins eXp, says Shelby's my sponsor. Yemi goes out and closes transactions. Because Yemi is successful, eXp will then pay me a small part for every agent who is closing deals within my community.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So this is kind of a difference between like coaching, like you've got a production experience that you've done, and this is more the coaching aspect of what you're doing now, right?
Right.
Okay. Since you've like scaled both of those, what are like some of the predominant, I mean, there are obvious differences, but like, what are some of the biggest differences between scaling in this real estate space from coaching to, as opposed to production, like what you started out doing?
They're very different businesses, because the client, the target is very different. And it's one thing
Makes
when
sense,
you're, one is like B2B essentially, one is B2C. So like that first one where I'm like, the business is working with the client facing, all that stuff. And then the second one is like, now I'm dealing directly with business owners, because every real estate agent is their own business owner. It's a weird space where it's your own journey, right? And so it's what I have found that is interesting working with real estate agents in like the coaching space is that I feel like there's far less control of the outcome. When you're working with a client, you can't, if they're like, man, I need to do this, except I should research schools first, and you don't trust that they're going to do it and you want to move it along, you're like, oh, I got it. I'm going to research all the schools. I'm going to do all of the legwork to make the path for you super clear.
Yeah.
Walk the path. The difference with agents is that I'm not going to build their businesses for you. So you can lead, it's like you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink type of thing. And some people are like, that 13%, that 13% are like, yeah, let's do it. And then the 87%, it's like, you can give them the playbook, but they have to do it. So you can't control the outcome in the same way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%.
It's interesting.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
It's been an interesting, 7 years.
I'm curious, like, just were you? Maybe I shouldn't ask that. That might be.
You can ask whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm like, I'm thinking from my standpoint. I have like occasionally offered very minimal mentorship to people who are like, hey, I'm kind of interested in starting a business. And so basically all I do is like, this is how bad it's going to be. Like, make sure you're serious. It's just like, I'm very short, very, very quick points. Like, this is not a cakewalk and you will be depressed for a little bit, but you might make a lot of money. So, have fun. So I'm just curious, if you're going into from production, sales into coaching, were you kind of disheartened to find out, like, it's like, wow, 87% of these people really don't, like, they're just not going to be about it. Like, was it hard to find the 13%, or were they automatically kind of rising up to the surface? Oh yeah, I actually really want to be engaged. And so it's normal for me to go looking for education. You look like maybe a mix.
It's kind of weird because I'm sure you guys have seen this too, in the world of entrepreneurship, everyone comes out hot. They're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do all the things. And so in our community, even there's kind of this like revolving of like, who is new this month? Like, those are the people who are the most excited and show up to all the trainings. And then in 3 months, it's like, bye.
That's great.
Where's Frank?
Yeah. And I'm so much more protective of my time. Back when I first got into the coaching space, I was like, give. Everyone's going to be great. We're all going to be successful, the whole thing.
Sure.
And now it's like, I just had a agent friend of mine being like, she's in Colorado, referral agent. She's like, hey, I have this new agent and she is going home to Lexington. That's where she's from, for like a month. Like, do you want to like meet her, maybe have coffee or something? And I was like, no. Why would I ever do that? I know this sounds so bad. It's going on a podcast.
She has to close a minimum of 30 transactions before.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to exist. You show at least 6 months that you're still here in 6 months. And then I would love to talk to you, because there's so much free content online that you don't need to pick, especially my brain. I'm like, bro, I'm in like a bajillion podcasts. Can you just, I hosted.
Let's go find one.
Like, I'm like, please just listen first. I mean, if you're here later, then we can talk.
Sure. That's good. That's fair.
Sorry, listeners, if that sounds bad.
No, So, speaking of, the 87%, what's a failure or setback in your investing or team building journey that taught you the most?
Since chaos is in the name of the podcast, we like to hear about our guest chaotic moments. So you can pick whatever you feel like is the most fitting for that.
Okay. I don't think that there's a singular moment. I do know that for me, I wanted to do it all and I wanted to do it yesterday, which I'm still like that in a lot of ways. But I feel like that's an entrepreneur thing, right? We're going to take over the world and we're going to do it yesterday, go type of thing. Well, one of the biggest things through chaos that I've learned is that, like I said, less is more. And the time horizon that we have, granted, as long as we don't like die in a car accident or cancer or whatever, like we have the ability to focus really, really hard on one thing and become an absolute expert and totally crush it in one space for as long as we need, as long as we're being true to ourselves and actually focusing, not like distracted on Instagram and all that stuff. Like if you're really putting in the work and getting in the reps, I think that it's great to do that in a singular focus. Because then once you're really good and once you have the plate spinning, you can add more plates. But what a lot of entrepreneurs try to do is they try to, I'm going to be a real estate agent. I'm going to be a real estate investor. I'm going to start a team. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to do it. I will. And you can do it, but like trying to like spin all of these plates and then shit will crash and fall. And then you're spending more time trying to pick up when I think that hindsight 2020 is get really, really good at one thing before you pick your head up. And then you choose whatever is the next priority and get better at saying, I want to do this, or yes, I'm going to do this, but maybe in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. Is that what you were looking for?
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I can resonate with that. I've had to, I'm still probably doing probably a couple more projects than I should be, but I remember a few years ago just shutting something down because it was like, I definitely, these are all going to be super mediocre at best if I don't close up shop on something. Like best case scenario is we're gonna have very moderate results across the board because nothing can accept. I just don't have the bandwidth to do excellence all the way around. So I definitely can resonate with that. Yeah. Tell me about coming to Lexington, right? Like you and Drake are here. What was do you guys have background in Lexington? Why'd you wind up here? Because now that you're back on the production side, why here? Why now?
So fun. I'm so glad to be here. I really love it here. Good. So my dad remarried back in 2019-ish, a woman who's from here and has tons of family here. And so Drake and I started visiting for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Keeneland, UK football, whatever. And we were like, damn, this place is so nice. It's so green. Yeah. The people here are like ridiculously nice. For sure. The cost of living, there's so many factors that by the way, visiting, we were never like, we're going to move here. This wasn't until we were in the place where I had shut down the business. I was doing completely virtual work with the online stuff. And then we didn't love where we were living. We moved in Charlotte. We didn't love the neighborhood. We wanted to move anyway because of that. And then Drake's best friend got in a car accident and died on his birthday. All of this like happened in a short period of time. And so we were like, we need fresh start. Let's pick up, let's move somewhere. And Lexington wasn't even first on the list, but we were just like, oh no, actually that makes sense. Let's do it. And we offered sight unseen on the house that we're in now. And we're here in like 45 days. Like it was real quick. And and then we're like, oh, we really do love it here. And so it's kind of cool too, because I grew up my dad was in the Army. So I moved every single year growing up. I was always a new kid. And then I was in the Army and Drake was in the Marines. He's moved a ton. And we just wanted someplace where we could like really plant roots and commit to the long run and not be like, oh, let's just live here for a little bit and pick up and move forward. Because that's a different mindset. When you meet people, you're not like, I might not see you again versus like, I'm going to see you guys again. And I want something more. You know what I mean? It's just different.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I love it. I came here on a whim and I have been singing Lexington's praises ever since. I tell people it's kind of like a unknown paradise. People just, if you haven't been here, it's not on your radar. So I think it's an awesome
I came to Kentucky for a party. So
that's right. And this is my favorite thing about Yemi's background. He came for a party that just like never ended. It's just like been one long party.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you.
Shelby's like, wait a second.
I'll tell you that story, Shelby. Definitely.
Okay.
But
that's awesome.
So obviously, you're passionate about helping agents. It's clear that you care, helping agents build their passive income. Are a good number of even the high producing agents living paycheck to paycheck, like deal to deal?
Totally.
Really? Okay.
Traditionally, agents, not so much in our community because we are the investor mindset type of community, but agents as a
Sure.
whole are notorious for not being good with money, living paycheck to paycheck. They could be crushing it, but that just means that they'll buy the better house and the better car and not really save
Sure.
or plan or whatever. So, yeah.
Interesting. Huh. That's curious. I think it's interesting. I mean, even in entrepreneurship in general, I think people race too quickly to appear that they've achieved something before they actually have, and it seems to get people in a lot of trouble. It's just, I don't know. It's funny because it's definitely true in like just the professional out and about. Like if you work a job somewhere, like any kind of corporate structure, people are racing to like trade in their car for, the next model year. And it always kind of made me chuckle a little bit because it's like, who are you? You guys are all you're all doing the same thing. Like nobody's creating anything. You're all working for the same person. Like why do you even care? And so then you like, it kind of makes at least a little bit more sense because if you're trying to build something and you want to represent, that you've got your stuff together, that makes a bit more sense, but it's also still kind of sad because you're just, always way in over your head all the time. So that would be a stressful way to piece a story that's not true. But I don't know.
Totally.
Those are just my thoughts on general stuff I've seen people do. It cracks me up. All right. So wrapping up here, I got a couple like just quick closing thoughts I'd like to get your comments on. So you've done everything in the real estate. You've done short-term rentals, long-terms, you've been in wholesaling. So if somebody is new coming into real estate, what is an initial strategy that you're going to recommend to them? Why, right? And like, where are you going to point them? Like, hey, like I've never done real estate, right? But I'm like, Shelby, I want to become an agent. And I promise I'll be here in 3 years. What are you going to tell me to do right out of the gate?
That's so funny because the whole time you're asking the question, I thought that it was going to go the investor route, and I like had my answer ready for that. And then you're like,
okay,
and I'm like, oh,
it's a little switcheroo. You can also answer for the investor if you'd like. We have investors that listen to this, so you can do both. That's fine.
Well, the easiest, best route, I think, if you're trying to get into real estate investing, is to use your primary residence loan. If you're veteran background, 0% down, awesome. If not, there's FHA loans, or even conventional 5% down, some low down payment primary residence loan to house hack. And you can house hack using, that loan product can get you up to a quadplex, which would be amazing to live in one unit, rent out the other 3, triplex, duplex, same concept. But I know the market's really tough. And so even just doing that, like buying a normal home, single family, and then if you're open to it, renting out the rooms, or when you go on vacation, short-term rental while you're gone, or do none of that and just wait a year and rent it out when you move out and you buy your next house hack and keep doing it that way. I really think that that's like I can't even imagine a better way to get started as a real estate investor than that. Okay. And
that makes sense.
For the agent side, you're like, what is the best way to get started for the agent side?
Yep.
Man, this is similar to your answer earlier where you're like, it's just going to suck, dude. It's going to suck really bad. I think the best way to get started in the agent space is you have to figure out where your leads are going to come from. Your leads are going to come from. Are you the type of person who is really good at networking and making people love you, and you can go literally network and talk to people and get business? Some people are like that. If you're not like that, then maybe you're really disciplined and you can sit by a phone and cold call for 3 to 5 hours every single day. Awesome. Or maybe you love video and you want to start a YouTube channel and you have the funds where you're not going to get a lead for 6 months, but once you start getting leads, the people are going to love you and you're not going to have to convince them to work with you like the cold callers are. So there's but I think that ultimately so many agents are like, oh, I have my real estate license, I'm going to go sell a house. They don't have anyone to sell to. You don't have a business if you don't have clients. And so even before you get your license, I think as an agent, think about, are you comfortable talking to people? Are you willing to do what it takes to build relationships and build your book of business? Because if not, you could be the best agent in the world, but have no one to work with and make no money.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Love it.
True. So Shelby, final thought.
Yeah.
Finish this sentence. The military taught me blank, and it's the reason I succeed in real estate today.
The military taught me find a way to win. And it's the reason I'm successful in real estate today.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
There
it.
it
That's
is.
so great.
There it is.
You guys are great.
What a great episode. What a great time having you on and getting to chat. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. We should also tell us and our listeners where they should connect with you. Where are you most active?
Yes.
Where can we leave that in the show notes?
Where I'm most active is on Instagram at the Shelby Show. And so, yeah, follow me on there and hang out with me. I'd love to. If you follow me, I'll probably be like, hey, who are you? What's your name? Maybe. If I don't, you should still reach out and say hi. And otherwise, you can check out our website is fivepillarsteam.com, which is a little bit about us. And my contact information's on there. Anyone, feel free to reach out. And yeah, if you're going to ask to pick the brain and have coffee,
that's already disqualified. Don't
watch the podcast first and come with, hey, I watched this episode. I have a question on this. And then I'd be like, oh my God, so impressed. And now I would spend time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, little cheat code there.
I just sent you a DM asking for coffee, Shelby. So
oh my God.
And we're just all... Everybody's gonna spam just right off the bat.
Oh my God. I asked for it.
We could put like a promo code free coffee with Shelby.
Oh my gosh. It sounds so bad. Yep.
Well, Shelby, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on. Ton of fun, great insights, and yeah, look forward to catching up with you down the road. We can maybe run this back in a year or two and see where things are at and where you guys have progressed.
That sounds
at that point.
Great. So. And looking forward to seeing you guys in the world.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you later.
Thanks.